Hey everybody, it's your boy Toxy Boyo, and I would like to talk to you about a little game called Tekken 8. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's celebrating its 1 year anniversary. And with that came a huge update. Uh, a bunch of stuff got added to the game, all sorts of new features, and it's like easier to add people as a friend on there. The photo mode's been expanded. I haven't really checked it out too much because every time I play Tekken 8, I get angry, no matter if I win or lose. But I want to talk about something that's a bit more of a problem with the industry as a whole, but particularly Tekken 8 seems to be a little egregious. DLC, right? I don't want to talk about the Fight Pass or anything like that. That was a whole other can of worms when it came out that I don't know if the general consensus is that it's gotten better or worse. I have not looked in it in like 6 or 7 months. I do not go into the Tekken Fight Pass to look at my rewards or anything like that. I'm just talking about main DLC, like the characters that get added. I think that when it comes to fighting games, I think aside from shooters and maybe sports games, fighting games is the genre that most people just accept microtransactions in. They're gonna sell you skins and stages and characters and maybe even story DLCs, right? That's just something that comes with the territory, and it's been like that for years. Sometimes they'll re-release the game with all the content built in, like with Mortal Kombat and Injustice, but sometimes they'll just release a season pass that you can purchase, and then you get every character as they get added. And that's kind of the route that Tekken 8 has gone. Now, DLC has become more and more pertinent in fighting games as time has gone on, particularly with this new batch of the big three: Street Fighter 6, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat 1. I could be wrong, but Street Fighter, as far as I can remember, is the only game out of those three that did not try to sell you characters before the game released. Before Mortal Kombat 1 was out, they showed you every character that was going to be in Combat Pack 1. Peacemaker, Omni-Man, Homelander, 3 guest characters right off the bat. But then Ermac, Quan Chi, Takeda. That's cool, I guess, right? And then Tekken 8 Tekken 8 revealed that the first DLC character to get added would be Eddie Gordo. And he came out pretty soon after the game released. I think it was maybe a month or two. And there was that whole issue of him coming out as a beginner rank character. So if you were someone that was maybe Mighty Ruler rank by the time he came out, you would kind of be forced to smurf, because while you're trying to get your character up to the same rank as your main character, you're beating up a bunch of people that just got the game or just started playing ranked. We got past that, and then the second character to be added was Lydia Sobieska, a character who was also in Tekken 7, just like Eddie Gordo was, and funny enough, was DLC in Tekken 7. So far, the two characters that they've sold you are that were already in Tekken 7, and B, Lydia, this would be the second time that you bought her. You have had to buy her twice. That's kind of silly, but not much we can really do about that. The third character, who was announced with a story DLC, was Heihachi. Heihachi Mishima, one of the characters that serves as the face of the franchise. Now that's a little odd, because I remember Harada and his team saying a couple years ago that Heihachi was like completely, totally dead. And that was a big deal, because this would have been the third time he got killed in the franchise. He dies at the end of Tekken 1, but not really. He dies at the very beginning of Tekken 5, but not really. And then he dies at the end of Tekken 7. And now we know, but not really. So, nothing matters. They brought him back because apparently the team just missed him. They just missed working on him. But again, this was a character that was in Tekken 7. Heihachi has actually never missed a Tekken game ever now. He's been in every single one of them. He's in more games than Jin is in. He's in more games than Kazuya is in. He only ties with Yoshimitsu, Paul Phoenix, and Nina Williams. Right? And then the next character to get added after that was our first guest character. There was a lot of speculation as to who that might be. People wanted Baki Hanma, they wanted Kiryu from Like a Dragon, they wanted Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy. But we got a Final Fantasy character. It was Clive Rossfield. Rossfield? I don't remember how to say his name. Another sword character in Tekken. Yay! We don't have enough of those. Add a couple more. We might as well be playing Soul Calibur 7. No, but I really don't like sword characters in Tekken outside of Yoshimitsu because he's always been there. But similarly to how Noctis was in Tekken 7, Clive is very strong. Like, very strong. Or at least that's how he felt for the first couple weeks of his release. Everybody was playing him. He was everywhere. He's kind of died down now because I don't know if he's been nerfed, but it was kind of figured out that he's actually not that great. But it does, like, I don't know. With the people that I know that play Tekken and have played Final Fantasy, it didn't really build a whole lot of hype. Final Fantasy 16 has not been as popular as Final Fantasy 15 was, and then to find out that the deal was made before Tekken 8 even came out because the main producer behind Tekken just liked the idea of Clive's story kind of being similar to Jin's, and it's like, is it? Yeah, I guess so. But I say all that to say that Tekken 8 has a problem with its DLC characters. 3 out of the 4 are all characters that were in Tekken 7, one of which you had to buy last time too. So that kind of just doesn't bode well for the model that we have for picking characters, and they've teased Anna Williams for the next character, like the first one from season 2, and that would be really funny because again, Anna was in Tekken 7, and you had to buy her. I would really not like to have to buy another character another time. Especially when Tekken has so many characters, similarly to Mortal Kombat in this way, that have fallen by the wayside. There are so many characters that we haven't seen since Tekken 6 or sooner. And when it comes to fighting games, a character could be sold as DLC without needing to be alive, right? That was another big problem with Heihachi coming back, is he could have just been a playable character. He didn't have to be alive again. Because now we have this whole DLC that makes Tekken 7 feel like a waste of time because he was brought back in the craziest way possible. Some just big-ass monk came and saved him. And then he got amnesia. And then he boxed with Lydia for a while, and then he, like, headbutt a meteor. And now he's back. and it's not to say that the Tekken story has really been very good since, like, Tekken 4. But, like, that's ridiculous, right? It's almost as ridiculous as Jinpachi just waking up because he was possessed by some sort of demonic force that was not the Devil Gene. We know it's not the Devil Gene, but we don't know what it was. Yeah, story implications don't necessarily have to matter when you want to bring a character back to life. We could have Wang Jinrei back, or Baek Da-sung. I understand not wanting to do that because you don't want to necessarily have 2 Taekwondo users, but how many Mishima karate users do we have, right? You could bring back Dr. B if you wanted. You could bring back, I'm trying to think of characters that were not sold in the last game, because Tekken 7 did bring back Craig Marduk and Gan Ryu and Lei Wulong, but you had to buy them. And since they're not in the base roster of Tekken 8, I don't want to buy them again. People have wanted Armor King, I don't want to buy him again. That's what it all comes down to, is I don't like for a franchise to sell you the same thing over and over again. Beyond just buying the game, why do I have to keep buying the same characters over and over when you can just put them in the game? Base roster. They got rid of Bob, they got rid of Miguel, Katarina's gone, Josie's gone, Julia's gone, You know, so many characters from Tekken 7 just didn't make it to 8. But that's okay, because Zafina's back. And they kept Claudio. And now we've got Azucena and Reina. When we don't need Reina because we had Asuka, but they decided not to do anything with her character. But she's still there. Dragunov is still there. Isn't that nice? Panda and Kuma and Jack are all still there too. Isn't that great? Don't you love that? For the 7 Kuma players out there, I know you love that. But Forest Law, gone. Ogre, I haven't seen him since Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I believe. Who else? Mokujin, Kombat. They're both kind of the same thing, so you only need one, you don't need both. But, I mean, just like how many characters are gone that we haven't seen in forever? Roger? Or Roger Jr. Alex? Bruce? There are, I don't know, it feels obvious to me, right? Christy Montero. What was she in Tekken 6? You know, I would have been a lot happier if it was Christy Montero in this game instead of Eddie Gordo. That's just how I feel personally, I guess. I've been to Reddit about this a couple times because you look at like Street Fighter 6's DLC, right? The return of M. Bison and Akuma, who, yes, were in Street Fighter 5, but like, it feels like more of an event now that they're back in Street Fighter 6. Especially because Street Fighter 5 takes place... Oh, when the hell does 5 take place? 5 is not right before 6 in the timeline, I believe. So canonically speaking, it's still been a while since Bison has popped up. Because I believe 3 is the one that takes place closest to 6, if I'm not mistaken. So Bison's not in that game, Akuma's not in that game, so it's been a while since they've popped up. So it's a big deal. The guest characters, Terry Bogard, Mai Shiranui, it's fun, it's exciting because it shows that SNK and Capcom have a camaraderie again, they have a brotherhood again. So there's more to look forward to. Maybe Chun-Li will be a playable character in Fatal Fury City of Wolves when that comes out. You know, cross promo is a lot more fun than just, yeah, here's a Final Fantasy character again, but not the one you wanted. Tifa Lockhart would have made me do a front somersault. Somersaults are front, but I can't do a flip to save my life, but I would have done a front somersault for Tifa Lockhart. Or for Baki Hanma, and I don't even like Baki. Or for Kiryu, and I've only played one Like a Dragon game. It's upsetting because we've been criticizing like Mortal Kombat, right? For years, for how fucked their roster is and their approach for DLC characters is, especially guest characters. Ed Boon has kind of, and I'll do a dedicated video about Mortal Kombat somewhere down the line, but Ed Boon has kind of thrown his franchise into the toilet because he's so obsessed with comic book and movie characters popping up in his game. Like there are certain characters that I feel like should always be there, right? You should have all the ninja, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Ermac, Rain, Reptile, Noob, Smoke. I think I already said Smoke. Tremor, Chameleon, whatever. They should all be there. Johnny Cage, Sonya, Jax, they should all be there because like everyone that was in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 should be there every time. But in this game, Sonya Blade's not playable. Jax isn't playable. But oh, it's okay because Ashra's back. Remember Ashra? Remember Reiko? Remember Li Mei? It's like, no, you're trying so hard to bring back this old-ass era of Mortal Kombat that failed. And for what? Oh, Havoc's back. Great, the 7 people that liked Mortal Kombat Deception will be over the heart-shaped moon, right? And then there are all these characters that are missing. Oh, but don't worry about it because we've got Homelander. We've got Omni-Man. We've got Conan the Barbarian. We've got Ghostface. We got Peacemaker, a character that is only culturally relevant because of John Cena. And right now, and even when that DLC came out, Not really. People aren't really talking about him that much. They will again when season 2 comes out later this year, but are people really discussing Peacemaker right now? Beyond that, if you go back and look at Mortal Kombat 11, oh my god. Oh my god, the Joker, John Rambo, Terminator, RoboCop. Spawn was cool. I'll give them Spawn. But like, Ermac wasn't in the game. Smoke wasn't in the game. Tremor wasn't in the game. Melina had to get added through DLC, and it's like, well, because she died. I don't care. This is Mortal Kombat. I don't give a damn who's dead. You can put them in the game without putting them in the story. They can still be playable. Oh, and we had to make room for new characters like Cetrion and Collector. Yeah. And Tekken is kind of going in a similar direction. And I don't know. I'm like, Tekken 7 had a lot of DLC, right? Kunimitsu, Gunryu, Armor King, Lei Wulong, Geese Howard, Negan, Noctis. I forgot about those 3. What a strange approach to guest characters that game had. God, who else was in that game? I'm blanking hardcore right now. But I don't know. Tekken 7 still had everybody that you wanted, right? At least if that's what I felt like. I don't know. I don't like this approach that like the roster is staying the same size because we're dropping characters that are like really well liked and we're bringing in randos. And then for DLC, it's like, yeah, let's sell you the same characters that you already had access to in the last game. I could just fire up Tekken 7 right now and play as Lydia, Heihachi, and Eddie. You know? Or even if I didn't buy Lydia, I could still play as Heihachi and Eddie. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitching and moaning about something that's not a real problem. I don't know. I tend to do that sometimes, but it's just not where I feel like it is. I feel like Tekken is taking its player base for granted. And I really don't want that to continue, especially when you look at like that Ganmaji Temple map, or that stage, and like how that whole thing was handled. That was so poor. And I still haven't actually like used those Tekken coins that they gave us. I still haven't used those to buy the stage because I don't care. I don't want it. Like, that was so poorly handled and so poorly planned out that the only thing I can assume is that it wasn't planned out at all, and that Bandai Namco has gotten greedy again. That's what it all comes down to, you guys. Bandai Namco fucking sucks. Leave a like if you agree, subscribe if you want to. I gotta start remembering to tell people to subscribe, because I'm a little out of practice at this, but that's all I have to say about Tekken right now, and I guess I'll see you later.